Hey, player. How y'all
Hello.
doing?
Hi.
So excited today. Today we have a very packed show with some great guests here with us. I'm so excited to have everyone here um, with us. We have Team Petty Headlines over here, and we also have Abe Won't Be Silent, and then we have Jessica, the Big Weird Mom. Yay! I'm so excited to have each one of them. I was intimidated to ask Jessica, but I had to go ahead and ask. And Abe,
You're very scary.
yeah, I was scared. Abe is one of my good friends. We talk all the time, so I can ask him anything. So I wasn't scared of him. Now, Team Petty Headlines, I thought he was going to tell me, "Look, I don't talk, so I don't know what you want me to do." But everybody was so gracious and excited to come on. So I'm excited to have everybody. So we're gonna first, we got some. We're gonna first talk with Greg, Team Petty Headlines. I just love what you do on TikTok, and I enjoy your
Yeah, thank
content
you.
so much. It makes me laugh. It doesn't have to say a word. Just this right here. I know it's gonna be good when he takes that sip. I want to show you guys one of my favorite TikToks that just came um, from Team Petty here recently. So y'all check it out.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love the content. It's just the drink and the face for me. I know it's gonna be good. So T Petty, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to TikTok.
I came to TikTok because I was recruited for the Biden Digital Coalition TikTok team during the general election. And while making videos with them, it just kind of made sense to use my account for my own stuff. And there weren't a whole lot of people like just delivering the news. It was just one story and their opinion on the story, and that was it. And I was like, well, people don't retain that. So I decided I'm going to play my favorite songs. I'm going to show you the headlines for the day. I'm going to have a cup of coffee and let that be that. And it turned into this thing. So
I love it. And tell us your names on TikTok. You have Twitter, Instagram, and tell us about your podcast.
yeah, so I just launched a podcast last week. It's called Don't Make This Weird, the podcast. It's named after my second book. And you can find it anywhere that podcasts are available. Just search Don't Make This Weird, or head to my profile on TikTok and Instagram at Team Petty Headlines, or you can follow the podcast Twitter account at Don't Make This Weird Pod.
Awesome. You guys make sure you go follow Team Petty on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Make sure you go and follow for some really good content. I really enjoy it. So we have Miss Jessica here. And I was so excited to that she said yes again. I was a little intimidated, but I was very glad that she said yes
Such
to
an
come
innocent.
on. Yeah, I was just excited that she agreed to come on, and I love her work. And I want to show you guys one of my favorite TikToks that she just did here recently that I thought was funny, and I peed my pants. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Parlor Martyr, where I read parlors so you don't have to. You asked, and I'm here to deliver. Here's some more weird parlor ads. Get a vaccine exemption card to protect yourself and your family. And I'm not kidding you when I say these people think that they're going to be accosted by vaccines just from walking down the street. Don't let them force DNA-altering poison into you. You are not an animal to be medically experimented on. Fight back against medical crimes against humanity. Use your rights or lose your rights. Under national and international laws, you are exempt. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. If you are ever presented with a demand to take your vaccination you do not wish to receive, invoke your right of informed consent by presenting your card to the would-be vaccinator. For just $9.99, you can save yourself from would-be vaccinators attacking you on the street.
I love that freaking TikTok. I watched it like 3 times. It was awesome. I'm so excited to have you here. Jessica, tell us about yourself. You got some little babies in the background, you guys.
Yeah, sorry. I have a little babysitter issue today, so I've got 2 little minions with me. But anyone who follows both of our content, I think, is probably used to that by now. So I am Jessica, the Big Weird Mom. I'm Big Weird Mom across most platforms. My backup account on TikTok is just Big Weird Mom without the. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of was like every other bored person in the pandemic, and started making content. And one day came across a post on Facebook where somebody had posted a Parler screenshot, and I read it on TikTok, and then it just kind of exploded from there. We've had some fun. It's been scary, but we made some friends at the FBI, and yeah, that's been pretty fun.
I love the content. I remember the first one I saw was when you were doing Parler, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta give a follow. I thought that was awesome. I really enjoy your content. Make sure you guys go and follow her on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Make sure you go and support her content, because I think it's completely awesome. And a lot of people do too.
Thank you.
And now we have Abe over here. Won't be silent. So excited to have him again with us. So excited to have him come here with us today. Look, I'm never intimidated to ask Abe, because I know he's going to tell me yeah, because he loves me. And he's never going to tell me no. So, and if he ever does, I will be making a TikTok talking about it. I want to show you guys one of my favorite. First of all, I just love Abe's delivery, and I will tell you guys a hidden fact about Abe. Abe, when he makes his content for TikTok, you know how we make ours and we make them like in little excerpts, like it's just, you talk a little bit and you pause. Abe doesn't do that. Abe literally gets all of his says everything all in one little whop. Like, he doesn't have to edit anything. Everything that he wants to say, that comes straight out the brain. He doesn't have to think of anything. All of his punchlines, everything that he does comes straight out the brain. And I think that is completely awesome. I love his content, and I want you guys to check this one here out that he did just recently.
I didn't think I would find somebody I could despise as much as Donald Trump. And believe me, there's plenty to choose from in the despicable department. Ron DeSantis wins second prize in douchebaggery in the GOP. He outdid his vileness today. He was taking a photo op at the rubble in Surfside. And meanwhile, Israel had sent over their emergency crews to help with the search and rescue mission, and he refused to let them help. Now, I don't know if it's anti-Semitism or what, but when people show up to help, you just let them help, because that's what's called goodness. And how you people are moving to Florida in droves, I don't understand living there, but moving there now with who is running your state, the crazies are running that state, and you guys are moving there, and you're blue. Nice weather in the summer.
I love that TikTok. I wanted the one where you called Amy Coney Barrett the children of the corn. I couldn't scroll down that far. I
think it was the older sister of the corn, rather, by the way. Just in defense of my spontaneity, is I never knew I could stop it and restart it, which is why I was like, oh my God, I have 59 seconds to get this out of it, and boom. So now I know I can, but I still it's called, when you're a writer, it's called a vomit draft. You would know that, Greg. So, but thank you for acknowledging my bullshit. Anyway, I'm Abe. course, won't be silent. I've been on TikTok like all of us. I found my way through during the pandemic. Leading up to the pandemic, I'm working on a film called Won't Be Silent, but due to COVID, I had to shut down, and I decided that the message Won't Be Silent can resonate through to the November election. So I turned the theme of the film into music and made it into social media public service announcements for a couple of different voting rights groups. So it just kept me connected to my project. Then I found TikTok, and then I found an amazing group of people who share my value to how important voting is. And I guess I'm picking up where I'm filming now. However, the message of what better way to say I won't be silent than by voting? We're going to carry through to 22 and 24. So I'm on youtube.com/won't be silent. Instagram, I'm there. I'm just not obsessed with it. So I'm just much more focused on TikTok, and I'm building my YouTube channel and working on this film that I'm going to be sharing with people over the next few weeks. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here. We got some good stuff to talk about. So let's get into it because we're already 11 minutes in. Let's get into it. So excited. The first thing that we're going to talk about is a very somber situation, sad, and it's really been hard for me. And I actually had to take some time off of TikTok this week with the situation that's going on in Surfside.
Nice.
I have not that story last week that I had with the firefighter, which they said that he didn't discover his child, but they said that he was on site and they discovered the 7-year-old child in the rubble. It really done something to me. I couldn't imagine that. And it's so sad. And this situation to me, even more sad because it was completely preventable. It seems to me that it was, according to everything that I found. So the first thing that I want to do is show you all a clip, and we're going to take this moment of silence. On yesterday, there was actually a moment of silence that they took along with everyone there, all of the recovery, the firefighters, the recovery effort people, everyone took a moment of silence and they actually recorded it. I just want to show that. And then if everyone here that's watching, we're going to take a moment of silence. As of right now, 78 people have been found deceased there. 47 victims' families have been notified, and there's 62 people that remain unaccounted for. So after they demolished this on Sunday, they demolished the rest of the building. They have turned it completely to a recovery effort. They know that the likelihood of finding anybody alive there is pretty slim to none. So yeah, we're going to look at this clip here and take a moment of silence. And if we can have no comments or anything while we take this moment of silence with the people of Surfside. And I know I got that clip. Don't tell me I don't have it.
No, we
Girl,
can
do I not have a clip? I'm embarrassed. Oh, let's take a moment of silence, you guys. I had the clip, but I don't have it anymore. Let's take a moment of silence for the people of Surfside. 30 seconds. So we took our moment of silence for the people, the victims at Surfside and their families. We're going to keep them in our prayers. I would love to know what you all's opinions are of what's going on in Surfside, and what do you feel that we could do to help and support the families and the victims of Surfside. We'll start with Jessica.
It's been hard for me too. I think, and I was talking about this last week. Since becoming a mom, things just hit harder. It's harder to kind of like emotionally process stuff. And unfortunately, I haven't really addressed it very much in my content. It's really tough for me to go and even like get involved in looking through the comments and everything. But I definitely need to make the commitment that I will address it and that, we will kind of, give it the airspace that it deserves. We're sitting here talking about mom groups and joking about, vaccines, and really we need to focus on, what brings us together as both sides, right and left. And that is fighting for, saving people's lives and helping, in the recovery effort and helping in supporting them moving on. I think, as creators, we all just need to kind of, give airspace to those issues and, find how we will support. Is there, are there GoFundMe's? I don't know. Unfortunately, like I said, it's been tough for me to look through everything, but I definitely will address it moving forward.
Greg?
I'm definitely where Jessica is on this, in that, like, it's hard to, like, sometimes present the heavier stories, because there's always going to be those people in the comments that say, oh, well, you're not doing enough. So as a creator, it's, I try to give airspace to the heavier stories sometimes, but in limited spaces, because I've had run-ins where people have DM'd me and been like, you're being performative with it. Like, you're not doing enough personally. So it's a fine line to walk. So, and like Jessica said, like, we have to make that space for them and find the GoFundMe's and, the organizations that are supporting the first responders and the families, and, boost that, because it's the right thing to do, all, being petty and joking and fun aside on TikTok.
I can agree. It's a hard situation to talk about. Abe?
That post that you saw that I did, that was not my first post about it. I addressed that situation, I think, the next day, because I was furious. And most of my posts are my response to what's happening in the world, whether it's politically or, in this case, tragically. But let's face it, that happened because there's corruption in our government on all levels, from the city inspectors to the people who used the wrong steel that was not the one approved. So it's like, I don't know. I'm so focused now on 2022 election that I don't want to dissipate my energy in supporting everything that's going to come in my path as much as I would. But I'd like to at least air the truth about why that happened. And I believe that we have to, and the media needs to pick up these pieces and track the companies that are responsible for that, because the amount of loss and heartbreak and pain that caused for all of us. I mean, as it is, we're all suffering from PTSD from 2016 to now, and especially now when something like that happens, it just hurts that much more. But the anger is where I come from, and the talking about the corruption in our government on both sides of the aisle is where I intend to stay my focus and draw attention, because I want to know whose job that was that said, we'll do it next year. That person needs to get his comeuppance. And jail, by the way. Can somebody go to jail finally? I mean, it's just, where do we live?
Who's
Anything.
going to be responsible for all the people that have passed away and it looks to me and to everybody that's investigating that it could have been prevented. Obviously, they knew that there was $15 million worth of damages to that building that needed to be corrected. So why no one did anything? They should not have been able to keep their certification, since that building was really uninhabitable. If you have a building that falls just like that, it wasn't a storm. Nothing was going on. That goes to show me that building was supposed to be uninhabitable. No one was supposed to be there until they made those repairs. And honestly, they probably couldn't even make the repairs so people could live there.
I agree.
It's too dangerous to make the repairs.
I agree.
Vicky, my question is, how many other buildings were these people in charge of that let all this stuff at Surfside slide?
Right.
How many more of these stories are we about to see?
Exactly.
Right.
And the other thing is I really want, and the reason why I want to be focused on the corruption, political corruption of it, because I want this to trail back to Ron DeSantis, because
Correct.
the buck has to stop with him. He's the head of that state, and he appoints whoever it's got to come back to him somehow, hopefully.
Yeah, and I don't know, has Greg, have you seen any of stories about this on Parler? Because I haven't seen them addressing this at all. Like,
no, and see, that's what's funny is, it's complete silence when something like this falls at the feet of a GOP leader.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris go out to eat or order ice cream or whatever, all hell breaks loose on social media because they're not doing enough. But Trump let how many 600 million people have died from COVID because of Trump, and now we're up to almost 100 people have died in Surfside because of
Incompetence.
Corruption.
Incompetence, exactly.
Corruption.
Absolutely. This is corruption on a local. Level in their town. Whoever paid that guy to recertify that needs to go down, and they need to all go to jail.
But it's also the construction company. They just use the same steel that they got approved. That's like a Trump move. The fact that building went down is a Trump story, because he was always using Chinese steel instead of American steel. I just can't. It's horrible.
Yes, absolutely. And what we need to do, and what I would encourage people to do that want to support the people of Surfside, I encourage them to look for individual families that need help versus doing the big donors. Because as we know, this weekend in Sarasota, Florida, Slurpee Dump was asking for donations for Surfside victims. Who knows if he's going to, the fine print at the bottom was going to say, oh, well, I'm going to take a percentage of this and the rest is going to go to Surfside. A lot of times these people have these companies and these people get money, and then the families that are affected never see it. And I'm going to tell you that from experience from Hurricane Katrina. All of these billions of dollars was donated, but a lot of that money never trickled down to families. So you can find families, GoFundMe's, that need help, and help them directly versus going to these landing pages that are going to be taking a percentage and keeping some of it for themselves and then giving the little hand-me-downs over to the families. Yeah. That's my suggestion. They have created paths for the families to be able to get help as far as getting money to help with burials. They're giving them like $2,000 to help with burials, which I don't think is enough. I think they should be paying for it.
That's nothing.
Right. Yeah, $2,000. And then they're giving them $10,000 for relocation money. They started the process for them to be able to do that, because not only do you have all these people who died, you have all these families that have lost their homes. These aren't rentals. These were people's house, their condos.
Wait, who's giving $10,000 and $2,000?
They create I talked about it on the last show, and you would ask me exactly.
No, but is it like the insurance company?
It's an insurance company that's working with the
Yikes.
condo association for the $10,000 for the relocation package.
Wow.
The $2,000 is coming from I believe FEMA, and the reason
FEMA, those
yeah,
idiots.
FEMA sucks. But if you died, that you could file like for a wrongful death. I'm not wrongful death, but you could file for death benefits from your state, because Louisiana is only $250. Did you know that?
Doesn't pay to die.
Yeah, I mean, just $250, and you could get a check. Your family could get a check to bury you. So that's where that portion
Yikes.
comes from. So yeah, we need to support those families. We do need to lift them up in prayer. If you believe in a higher power, we definitely need to do that, because they're saying that it's going to take a couple of more weeks to get down to the bottom of that rubble. So we will be talking about it likely again next week. I'm going to continue to talk about it, and keeping the family in our prayers, and whatever higher power that you believe. The next story that we're going to talk about, we're going to switch gears and discuss Frumpy Dump Trump and these class action lawsuits. As we know, Frumpy Dump announced that he was going to be filing he filed a class action lawsuit against Twitter, Google, and Facebook. In the filing, he is seeking intermediate injunction relief to allow the prompt restoration of his social media accounts. So this is for him, okay? This is for him. And he also
such an idiot.
Court to impose punitive damages on the three social media giants. Trump's legal effort is supported by the America First Policy Institute, a nonprofit I can't. Okay. Perpetuating Frumpy Dump's policies through a new legal entity called the Constitutional Litigation Partnership. And then we have the board chairman, Linda McMahon, both former Frumpy Dumps officials, accompanied him to do the announcement. This lawsuit, Twitter and Facebook has not commented. And let's look at Frumpy Dump as he announced what he's doing in this class action lawsuit here.
She's such a mess.
Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. I just want to say that I stand before you this morning to announce a very important and very beautiful, I think, development for our freedom and our freedom of speech, and that goes to all Americans. Today, in conjunction with the America First Policy Institute, I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. Three real nice guys.
He called them nice guys. So
she's such a basket case, that one. Like,
oh my God. So he's filed the lawsuits against these people, and I mean against these companies, and he, in my opinion, I can't wait for the discovery phase, if they even make it there, for one, because this is going to be dismissed. It's going to be DOA, dead on arrival. I don't think that I believe this is just another frivolous way for Frumpy Dump to grift. And the reason why I say that, because immediately after he announced this, he sent out a mass email, he and his son, Frumpy Dump Jr., begging the supporters for money. So I would love to know what you think about this, Abe.
what do you think I think? Let's face it, it's not even going to get to the point where there is a discovery period. According to the bylaws of both of those three companies, if you want to sue them, you have to put your suit in the state of California. He put it in Florida. So it's never, they don't even have to address him because there's no case. This is strictly grift. And I hope every one of his supporters gives him money, a lot. Just keep giving him money. keep giving him money because you're also stupid that you deserve to give him money. And that's my opinion on it.
Jessica?
Well, let me tell you, Parler is talking about this.
Oh, sure.
They are 100% convinced that, you know, because that's the narrative, is that Facebook and Twitter and everything, this is what is doing, you know, these companies are doing the censoring. They're trying to keep this secret information from getting out. And, you know, while Trump is trying to make this a money grab, and it's purely everything is for him. He wants to get his accounts back. He wants Twitter back, but they all think that he's trying to like fight for their rights in this like digital holy war. Like, but some of the stuff that they're coming up with is absolutely insane. Like, they think that Trump knows where 99% of all of the Earth's natural, you know, wealth is, and that he's gonna buy all of these companies and magically that will make all crime go away. They're saying if Trump and the people working with QAnon are planning on buying all of these companies, putting everyone who is in charge of them either in jail or killing them, and then no one will ever think to do any crime again.
Wow, these people are crazy. You know, they think he's coming back on August the 13th. That's the new grift. Mike Lindell announced this and had this big whiteboard where he had mapped out the path for Trump to be president again. I made a whole TikTok about it. It was horrible, and it had a line at the top that had Jesus Christ. And then it pointed all the way down, and it had a circle around Frumpy Dump's name, like he's going to be reincarnated as the new president. I mean, as the new Jesus Christ, as well as the president of the United States by August 13th, 2021. Greg, I'd love to know your opinion.
I think it's really interesting that there's this class action lawsuit the day after the New York State Attorney General's office indicts the Trump or CFO. It's awfully convenient for me that, this happened. And like y'all said, this is a money-making move for him. But at the same time, this is a smokescreen because his ass is in trouble.
Right.
Absolutely. They're coming for him, and he's going to do everything in his power to, muddy the waters with these frivolous class action lawsuits, to try to, distract his followers from what's really going on. And, because it's now come out that in addition to the Trump Works CFO, the three other people who were, responsible for writing checks for the Trump Award were, Cokehead Jr., Ivanka, and
Stinky.
Yeah. So the kids are going down first, and I would almost guarantee that this time in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about how Melania Bott and that the Tree Boy Barron got in there and just sang their little hearts out to
really
Attorney General Tish James.
Exactly.
Because you want to go for the weakest link, and my money is you get Melania and Barron, or you get Eric. Eric is soft. Eric will roll like a ball down a hill.
Oh yeah, I agree. And here's the thing: I don't understand Frumpy Dump's attorneys. I don't really understand them. I bet that every time he goes out to talk, they actually are just cringing and just like, please shut the fuck up. Or maybe they actually like it. I don't really know, because we know that Frumpy Dump has a track record of not paying his people. But when he does things like this, like he did this weekend in Sarasota in relation to the suit against his company, I want you guys to check this out and look at what he said this weekend in Sarasota.
And yet they go after good, hardworking people for not paying taxes on a company car. Company car. You didn't pay tax on the car. Or a company apartment. You used an apartment because you need an apartment because you have to travel too far where your house is. You didn't pay tax. Or education for your grandchildren. I don't even know. Do you have to? But does anybody know the answer to that stuff? Okay? But they indict people for that. But for murder and for selling massive amounts of the worst drugs in the world that kill people left and right, that's okay.
Is that not an admission of guilt to me, to you? Is that not him admitting that this has happened with my company? I know that I'm not supposed to do it. I'm going to get indicted for it and get in trouble for it. It's wrong to me, but I'm not supposed to, but I don't care. I'm just going to admit it. I mean, is that not an admission of guilt? I mean, that's crazy.
Of course. Can I just say that just talking about that class action lawsuit, you can't do a class action lawsuit if you have no class.
I was just about to say that.
I was waiting to say it for the past 5 minutes. I mean, he's a moron, and that's why you can't expect anything but just, publicity. And I'm going to say one quick thing. Before this whole thing started in 2015, early 2015, when he was starting the run, and the guy that, I forget the guy's name who was working with him, coincidentally, I was at a photo shoot, and his cousin was working on it, and he said, my cousin tells me that Trump's plan is to just say crazy shit and just keep his name in the press. And he has done that since then. So this is just a continuation of what he thinks works, which on some level it does, but I think we've come to a point where it's not going to work in the long run.
I can agree wholeheartedly. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. And he's taught his minions to do the exact same thing, which leads me to Musty Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Bobblehead. It came out today that a lot of these companies. Oh, I lost somebody. I think he'll come back. Okay, that scared me. Anyway. It came out today that a lot of these companies, after the January 6th insurrection, they said that they were going to stop. Welcome back. They said that they were going to stop giving people money. Can you hear us? Is everything okay?
Yeah, my earbuds died.
Oh, okay. It came out today that a lot of those companies that said that they were going to stop giving money to these GOP people that the Congress people that rejected to the certification of the win for Joe Biden, they have not actually stopped giving money to these people. But one company, a fundraising group, has said that they will not support Musty Marjorie. And in 2020, this fundraising group raised $20 million for Republican female candidates. And this GOP group is called The Value in Electing Women. And they came out and said, while we rightfully celebrate the number of GOP women serving in the House, I've always professed quality over quantity. Our women have fought too hard and too long to be respected and taken seriously as legislators, policymakers, and thought leaders. We cannot let this work be erased by individuals who choose to be shameless self-promoters and carnival barkers.
I love that expression.
Exactly. And this is what they mean by this, by what they're saying. This is the type of stuff that Musty Marjorie and Lauren Bobblehead choose to do.
Now, I have some questions for these freedom haters. When are you going to call on the chief executive, the basement dweller, to hold his own son accountable for his gun crimes? Hunter Biden lied on a federal firearms application, which is punishable by up to 10 years and a $250,000 fine, of which 10% will not be going to the big guy. Rules for thee, but not for my crackhead, Parmesan-smoking, gun criminal son.
Hold up. There's more.
We shouldn't have cheating in our elections. And that's exactly what happened on November 3rd, 2020. I'll tell you something else. I also believe that Senator David Perdue won on November 3rd, 2020.
So this is why they don't get support from what it seems like a legit fundraising group that doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And they learn saying this shit for shock value. They learn it from their leader, the lead taint sniffing recipient, Frumpy Dump. I would love to know, hey, what do you think about that?
First of all, I would like to think that they're telling the truth, but in the same way Toyota lied about paying people in the government for supporting the insurrectionist Congress people, and they continued to give them money, even though this week they said, no, we're really going to stop. So it's kind of like, I believe, I've come to a point through this phase of our culture to believe no one. So I think it's a good soundbite they're putting out, but I think unless we see their annual report at the end of 2021, we'll see if they in fact did or did not give money to those two women. And not only those two women, there's plenty in the Midwest that don't you dare give people like Kristi Noem and that other Marsha Blackburn. These people shouldn't even be allowed to breathe our air, let alone give them money. So
Correct.
You know how I think about Musty Marjorie and Boebert. So I'm on the same track as all of you. But these are dangerous women. They set the women's movement back. They're willing to be cat grabbed. And as far as I'm concerned, they are a danger to America, period. And they were both involved in the insurrection, by the way, and need to go to jail.
Exactly. Greg, what are your thoughts?
A lot like what Abe said, in that, until we see the end of the quarter numbers from this PAC, I'm not gonna, be like, oh my God, let me, come have lunch with us. I don't, it's the same thing with like the never Trumpers during the general. I was like, okay, you're useful for right now, but stay over there. I'm not for you. If it does come out that they in fact decided, you know what, we're not gonna support the Boeberts, we're not gonna support the Barry's
Badge the Vag,
blonde, whatever her name is. And like Abe said, there's also the Marsha Blackburns, there's the Kristi Noems, there's the Nikki Haleys, there's the Elise Stefanik's out of New York. She's
Nancy Mace.
Nancy
Mace. I believe
Nancy
she
Mace.
lied about that, about her house being vandalized. I believe she lied
absolutely did, because
100%.
somebody got on Twitter and compared her signature to the graffiti.
Yeah. Jessica,
but
you have any thoughts on that? Jessica? Oh, you have any?
Sorry. They were laughing on the other end of the house, and I was a little concerned that we were going to get burned down here. Like Greg said, the bar is really low if we're going to be happy about them not giving these two money. And I completely agree with that. We're going to have to see what happens. Like, that's a great sentiment. We're really glad that you're not supporting the actual bottom feeders, but let's see what else happens. And there literally are 20, 30 people who are waiting in the wings to support and to fill their shoes as soon as they leave. It's this really weird, like, white woman, like, it's a stereotype, I guess, but the conservative white woman, like, the only thing that she finds value in herself is that she supports Trump and that she is apparently the most beautiful woman to ever walk the earth. And like that's it. That's like their whole personality trait. And it just, I mean, it's just weird aspect of conservative politics that we need to support women, obviously, but not give them women or give them money just because they have a vagina.
I could agree with that. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has some issues. Well, because she has someone that's running against her, Mr. Marcus Flowers, that actually raised $1 million in the first quarter. Over $1 million in the first quarter. People are supporting him. His name is Marcus Flowers. He is the Democrat running against Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he is a veteran. He served as an active duty member of the U.S. Army, followed by 20 more years as a contractor or official for the State Department and the Department of Defense. He actually met John McCain, and John McCain asked him, was he going to ever run for Congress? This is something I read doing my research, Abe. I see you looking at me. So, Marcus' values are those of his district. He's loyalty, duty, honor, respect, service, integrity, unity, and he took an oath when he was 18 years old to protect and defend the Constitution, and that's what he lives by daily. He said he believes in bipartisanship and bridge building, but it does not believe in vilifying his political opponents. He is pro-choice because he does not believe the government should be allowed into people's bedrooms. He cares deeply about healthcare, the environment, and equality, social justice, education reform, and veterans issues. Apparently, Musty Marjorie is intimidated by this candidate because on May 28th, Marcus actually went to one of her town halls or rallies or something in Dalton, Georgia, and he was asked to leave by security. They actually kicked him out of there and said that the security guard actually said to him that his job was to assess the threat, and he had to leave. That meant that Marcus needed to leave immediately. So Marcus seems to be a very good candidate.
Yeah,
I've been following him on TikTok, and he's really good. And I just wanted to play you guys a small clip of him, a little bit, and he's going to tell you how you can go and support him.
First it was sedition, now it's secession. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is now praising Americans who want to secede. I'm Marcus Flowers, the Democratic Army veteran and patriot who's running to unseat her. She's a threat to our democracy. I need your help now to unseat her. Please chip in $5 or $10 or whatever you can, and let's end this national disgrace once and for all. Thank you.
So I feel like he's a really good candidate. I've made a donation to his campaign. He is on TikTok. Yeah, he's on TikTok. We want to support him because Marjorie Taylor Greene has the ability to get the money out of the Q supporters. Right. I believe that she raised more than $1 million. I believe it was about $3 million. $3 million. Abe, I would love to know what your thoughts is on Marcus and tell us.
Two things. I just want to stop with. I have one statement about the women that are running. There's a woman running in Illinois for Congress against a Republican. She is a Republican. She's the one that wore the MAGA wedding dress a few years ago. Her name is Audra Johnson. She's the one that wants to run for that office because the guy that she's trying to run against thinks he doesn't kiss Trump's ass enough. So she wants to be a better Trumper in that role. And she's also already threatening civil war. So this is who's running. And if they give that woman money, they might as well give it to Boebert because that's just all the same kind of crap. So that's number one. Number two, I found Marcus. Remember, Tiffany, I sent you his link right away. I found him and I was like, oh my God, if you want to see a really nice 10-minute interview with him, go to It Won't Be Silent on YouTube. I was able to get him. He's awesome. He is so extraordinary because he was working. He had a big government contract job. And on January 7th, after he saw what happened, he went in and he says, I quit, I'm running for Congress. And that's the kind of commitment we need in this country. Those are the kind of candidates we want to support. And I want to find as many of those as possible so that 2022 is going to help shape our world for the future. I know I sound sappy and everything, but it's really, I'm, touched by him. He's unbelievable. Such a great guy.
Have any of you, either one of you, seen Marcus's anything on Marcus? Have you seen him on TikTok or anything like that?
I follow him on TikTok. I also follow him on Twitter. And like Abe said, he kind of exploded on Twitter on January 7th. Like, he was everywhere on my timeline. So, did a quick read through of, his tweets and stuff. And I was like, all right, you're running against her. Let's do this. Slide you a 20. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. I can agree. I was impressed with him from the moment that I saw when I got it from Abe. I was like, oh yes, I gotta get behind this guy immediately.
I mean, it's such an uphill battle we have with him because of that district that he's in, but because he lives there and is really well liked there, hopefully that'll be. Oh, by the way, anyone who wants to join me when it comes to knocking on doors closer to the 2022 election, I'm putting a group together to volunteer to go down to Georgia. So let me know, email me. I'm totally into it.
Awesome.
I'm volunteering.
Awesome. I like it. I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I'll definitely go to Georgia. I think of course Marjorie's scared. She ran unopposed, and to see someone who is so charismatic and so well liked already making waves. I also think that it's just a matter of time before she really screws up and says something negative about him that is either completely untrue or whatever, something comes out. I think that, it's hard to say, it's like we say that, and then you look at all the skeletons that are already in her closet that have come out, and she still somehow has a job. And it's just, it's disturbing, but
it's going to be sad if he doesn't prevail, because it will remind me of Jamie Harrison in South Carolina with Lindsey Graham. He out fundraised Lindsey Graham by so much, and then he still wasn't able to get it. So I'm really supporting Marcus, and I try to give whenever I can, and I'll definitely be a part of that, Abe, if I can get away from these children.
I mean, can you imagine how much fun we would have if a bunch of us TikTokers went down to Georgia and rallied for him and then knocking on doors? Are you kidding? That's like a dream week.
Exactly.
Really.
I'm so down for that.
Yeah, I've already, believe me, I'm in. I told them already, there's a woman in Georgia that's going to be organizing housing and stuff. We're going.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the floor for questions, you guys, because we're running down to the last few minutes. If anybody has a question in the audience, please put your questions in the comments. We'd love to answer them. The last thing that we're going to talk about here is something that that Abe wants to talk about, is the Pfizer deal that is going on right now between them and the CDC. Pfizer plans next month to seek approval for a third dose of its COVID vaccine. It has been developing a booster treatment as a way to strengthen antibodies that will fade away over time to guard against the new highly contagious version of the COVID called the Delta variant. Now, this is pending approval. They could, if they get approval, they could begin the clinical studies as soon as August. But the CDC is pushing back on this, saying that they don't want to do this. They said that they don't want to do this because currently only 48% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated. So they feel like pushing out a third dose would basically set everybody back or confuse people on I don't understand that. I'll confuse people when most people haven't been 52% of the world hasn't been vaccinated, even gotten the first dose. So, hey, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I think that it's a political issue. The minute you mention the CDC, there's two things there's two things going on here. Big Pharma was always going to be the one to benefit from COVID from the day it happened. We knew that it was going to be an opportunity for global cash cow for not only the Pfizers and the Modernas and Johnson & Johnson, all of them. So the thing is that, of course, the Delta variant is going to need some kind of booster the same way we need a flu shot every year also. I mean, if we can just kind of minimize how afraid we are of the word COVID and understand that a lot of diseases and a lot of these kind of situations become manageable illnesses, which I believe COVID will become. That's number one. Number two, in Israel, just about the whole country was vaccinated, and then they started getting hit again with the variant, the Delta variant, and they closed down the country again for like a week or two, and they started testing, getting a third booster, and it's working. Now they're actually combining the Moderna booster with the Pfizer people. Anyway, the thing is this. We have to just figure out that this is not going to go away. And don't be afraid. Just head on, deal with it. If you need to get vaccinated freaking twice a year, do it. And these other people that don't want to get vaccinated, sayonara, please leave the planet sooner. I just can't listen to it. And that's so it's Big Pharma wants to benefit from it. The CDC doesn't want to have everyone getting all freaked out. And the CDC is afraid of the Republicans. And that's why they want to oh no, it's too soon. Because you can't confuse people that are already so confused that they're willing to die for their beliefs.
That was what I was going to say about it. You can't confuse people that are already freaking confused. So what the hell are they talking about? They have been talking about for months that there was going to be a need for a booster shot. So I don't even want to hear this. I think this was 6 months ago that they talked about there was going to be need for a booster shot at some point. People who are going to get the vaccine, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, they've gotten the vaccine. So this CDC's excuse is complete malarkey and bullshit, and they know it.
But hasn't CDC disappointed us from the beginning? From day one.
Exactly.
They're irrelevant.
I feel that 100%. You guys have any thoughts on that, Greg or Jessica?
But see, it's interesting that the CDC is talking about, oh, we don't want to confuse people when they're putting out new mask direction every 15 seconds to the point that people are confused. Like, you can't say, oh, we don't want to confuse you about the shots, but also at the same time, you should only wear a mask when you're at an indoor pool in Atlanta, Georgia in December at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like these people that aren't going to get vaccinated, it is what it is. Like, Darwin's going to take over. I'm not going to convince them. I'm done talking to them. I'm done talking about them.
Yes. And let them die before the election.
Exactly. Jessica, you have anything on that?
Yeah. And just to add on to Greg, I think, and if anybody goes on about bodily autonomy and how the government shouldn't be able to tell us what to do with our bodies, we're going to remind them of that every time, Roe v. Wade comes up and the discussion about abortion and a woman's rights comes up.
I agree. Anybody who doesn't want to get vaccinated at this point, they're not going to get vaccinated, and that's just it. The only way is if they just happen to survive COVID and then they have some type of awakening, a rude awakening, because everybody who's getting it, I think that Dr. Fauci said that everybody who's getting it right now hasn't been vaccinated. Right. And so 600,000 people have died. If that's not enough for you to say, let me go ahead and get this vaccine when 48% of the country has been vaccinated and we're all still alive. I don't have any magnets or anything stuck to my arm. What about you guys? No spoons or anything.
No.
So
I mean, I guess that weird moment where my fridge chased me through the house after I got my second shot. But other than that, we've been good. We've been fine.
No, but the thing is that we have to, this is why we're never going to come together with these people. It is, we have crossed the line of trying to kumbaya. We have no opportunity that I see in the foreseeable future to sit and break bread with these people. I know Jesse, Crazy Mother Runner, likes trying to go and bridge the gap. To me, until they just have to Darwin theory their way out of this situation. And that's the only option I see. I know
agree.
It's not nice, but
It's the truth.
they've taken America and they've turned it into a place that I thought I didn't want to live here. When with mission accomplished with George Bush, I actually moved to Amsterdam. Like, I am so packing, ready to go. Come like November 4th, if things don't go my way, I'm out. Period.
Exactly. We have one question from the audience that we'll address you all, and they asked your thoughts on the Newsom recall in California. I made a video about this. I think that Gavin Newsom did not take that seriously enough in the beginning. He didn't think that they would get the signatures to do the recall effort. It's a shame because I feel like Gavin Newsom has been good for California in many ways. I feel like he handled the COVID, the pandemic well, despite those, little hiccups that he had where he was out, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But this is just Republicans wanting to get rid of him for really no really good reason. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't a good enough reason to get rid of Frumpy Dump for inciting an insurrection to try to overthrow the government, you're going to get rid of somebody for having dinner with friends during COVID. I mean, I just think that that's ridiculous malarkey. I think that he's going to prevail. I think that California is too blue. It's not going to change anything, but I just think it's a shame that it's going to be charging taxpayers more money. But I guess they'll use some of that money that they had left over, because how much did they have left over this year in surplus? I forgot. It was
like $5 billion in surplus or something.
Yeah, that they had. So that's what I feel about it. I don't think it's going to change anything. And Caitlyn Jenner,
he's not losing. There's no way. No, I can see, like, look who's running. That crazy mayor from San Diego who started this whole thing. And excuse me, like, what's her name? Jenner. I mean, okay, where's the threat here? No one's voting for that thing, and I cannot stand what she represents. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing is somebody part of the LGBTQIA community that's speaking out somehow abstractly on our behalf. Like, shame on you. Shame on anyone that supports her, and shame on anyone that puts her on a talk show. That's the people that are really the idiots too.
I agree. Greg, Jessica?
It's interesting to me that, the GOP in California wanted this recall so bad, but they wanted it to happen next year during the actual governor's election. Well, the California Senate passed a law where the recall is happening in like 2 or 3 months, and the GOP is freaking out because they thought they were going to milk this through to next year. So, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, you either want this recall and you want it now, or you don't want it at all. And that's where I am on it.
I love it. Jessica?
I don't know if Abe's been getting these text messages too, but they keep asking me for money for to stop the recall.
I blocked it. I can't. I'm only giving money to candidates like Marcus and Tim Ryan and the few people that I'm just investigating now. That's where my money's going, and I don't have that much to give, but that's where my energy's going.
Right.
Not to Gavin Newsom, who was once married to Guilfoyle. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Can't even go there,
Well, you guys, it's been a good show today. This is the part of the show where I get on here and I beg you guys, you viewers that are watching, I would love to be able to tip my guests. And also, if you want to help improve the broadcast, please Venmo or Cash App me a tip so I can give my guest a nice tip. Y'all ain't got no whole bunch of money. I don't really get a lot of tips. So I will be sending you all a tip for coming and talking to me. I don't tell people about the tips. And the reason why I don't tell you about the tips is because I want to make sure that you're coming here because you love me and not because you want to get paid. So, if you guys want to help me tip my guests, please feel free to help me do that by Venmoing or Cash Apping me. You guys, it's been a wonderful show today. I really appreciate you all for coming on and talking with me. I really appreciate my guests for coming through consistently. I have so many of you that come every week and support me, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you've been here from the beginning and watching my show, you know that I've done a lot to try to improve the show, and I see that you guys are seeing that in the comments. And I just wanted to tell you all that I appreciate every single one of you that take the time to come and watch my show and support me, because this was scary as crap for me to do. And the fact that you all continue to support me means a whole lot. And I thank y'all, and I will continue to do it because I have you guys' support. Thank you, Abe, for coming and being here with me. Jessica, I really appreciate you. Greg, Team Petty Headlines, thank you for coming and being with me. I want you guys to come back, and also make sure that you go and follow Won't Be Silent if you're not following him on TikTok and all of his platforms. Same thing with the Big Weird Mom and Team Petty Headlines. Make sure you guys go and support his podcast. Thank you all for joining me, and you all have a precious night. We'll see you next week, where we will have Sakithia will be on next week, and Colorful Story will be here. So make sure you guys come back and join us. Y'all have a nice one.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all have a nice one. Hey, players. It's time for another riveting episode of Playing Stupid Games. How long